was the game that many picked as one they could afford to miss in the World Cup 2018, and while it started fantastically, the players tired and the game slowed. You would have been forgiven for switching off midway through the second half, and you would have been right too, up until the final minute. Aziz Bouhaddouz's late own goal saw Iran nick a shock win and all but end Morocco's slim hopes of reaching the round of 16. Here's 5 things we learned from the Group B opener. It's 2010. Apparently kickoff in St. Petersburg was met with a cacophony of vuvuzelas, or what sounded like them, harking back to the irritating noise which provided the soundtrack to the 2010 World Cup in South Africa. Vuvuzelas were consequently banned from stadia up and down the country in England. It seems that ban didn't extend as far as northwestern Russia, as the vuvuzelas drowned out any atmosphere that threatened to build, like a giant grasshopper was sat by the tannoy system for 90 minutes. Harking back to nostalgic World Cups of old is great, vuvuzelas are not. Had little to do but looked confident when called upon. Could do little to prevent the late own goal. His departure after appearing to lose consciousness was a worrying one, as Amrabat had looked a real threat down the right. Solid when called upon, despite Iran looking dangerous on the counter-attack. Another to perform well in defense without doing anything outstanding, also looked a threat in the opposition box. A really bright talent for Morocco spent most of his time in the Iranian half and rarely troubled defensively. Another to fade in the second half, and disappointed to pick up a yellow card as Iran broke forward. The 33-year-old understandably faded as the game reached its conclusion, but provided important experience for the young stars. Showed glimpses of his undeniable talent, but struggled with consistency. Impressive going forward, but got caught up in the niggly fouls and stoppages that plagued the second half. The brightest talent for Morocco, but after a flying start, faded towards the end of the second half and was substituted. Again showed glimpses of his talent, but seemed on a different wavelength to those behind him. Kept an all-important clean sheet, with Spain and Portugal to come. He will expect sterner tests. Struggled early on but grew into the game as his side improved in confidence. Uncertain to begin with, but eventually got to grips with an exciting forward line from Morocco. Struggled with the physicality of the game at times, but another to improve as Iran grew into the game. Helped to bring Iran back into the game, but may struggle against greater opposition. Substituted late on as he tired, but solid for Iran as they grew into the game. A bright spark for Iran and showed some of his ability that saw him labeled as a key figure. Sacrificed in the second half but looked solid and lead from the front as captain. The 30-year-old struggled with the pace of the game, but had the experience to remain calm and frustrate the Moroccans. Picked up a yellow card, and one of several to suffer and discipline as the game got to its latter stages. His pace and power caused problems for Morocco, especially on the counter-attack. Pub football may be a slightly harsh term, but after 2 games of teams not really putting in a big challenge, we finally got a bit of grit and nastiness to this World Cup. Iran's captain Masoud Shojaei was the first to enter the referee's book, and there was plenty of naughtiness to follow. If that wasn't enough, then we also had a classic goalmouth scramble with limbs and bodies flying everywhere. There were air kicks, blocked shots, sliced crosses and more. Total football. Getty Images. Even smaller team games are enthralling. Looking at the World Cup schedule, this game may have been one you wanted to miss, with neither team having a star name or especially known for goals. In fact, Morocco are known for the exact opposite: their defense. However, the game was end-to-end, with Morocco breaking on the counter-attack at pace and Iran throwing everything they could in their way. Literally anything, hence the yellow card count. Understandably, energy levels dropped and things petered out after an enthusiastic start. AFP/Getty Images. While the build-up play got the pulses racing for both sides during the game, there was a lot left to give when it came to actually hitting the target. Morocco's Sadar Azmoun was sent through on goal on the stroke of half-time, with it looking like for all the world he would break the deadlock. He took one touch too many, and a point at that, and it was easily saved in the end. It was then Amin Harit's time to put his name up in lights, but again lines were fluffed. A result of such a high-tempo game that chances were increasingly missed. Perhaps chance blown and chance taken. It was always going to be difficult to finish ahead of Spain or Portugal in Group B, but if it was going to happen, one of these two teams needed to take the game by the scruff of the neck and win it, and Iran did just that. Morocco were the better team throughout, but a last-minute own goal saw Iran go wild and move to the top of Group B, even if it is temporarily. Follow the Independent Sport on Instagram here, for all of the best images, videos and stories from around the sporting world.